What happened? Hello. Hello, everybody. This is Barbara J. Beckley, and I am your co host today for Let's Talk Fam. I feel excited because I haven't been here for a while, and I'm here bringing in some wonderful, wonderful panelists today. And we are going to have an interesting, awesome, amazing conversation. You're probably saying, Barbara, how do you know that? Because I know these ladies, and I know you as an audience, and I know we're going to have a nice time. So, with that, let's talk fabulous. And we are here. Let's see. Well, we'll do that. Let's wait till our queen gets set. Hello, everybody, again. Again, my name is Barbara J. Beckley, and today we have an amazing, you can just see on the screen these wonderful queens. I can say queen because they're all ladies. Yay. I always like saying that. For that said, we are going to be talking about today, before you get introduced to them, they're going to introduce themselves. We're going to be talking about building a lasting impact. And it's part of the legacy shows that I know that's been going on in Let's Talk Fab. So this particular legacy show is going to be talking about leaving that lasting impact as you're alive now. Because, a lot of times when we say legacy, most of the time it's talking about when, you leaving something after you get your wings. I always say get your wings when you pass. But we want to talk about some things that's leaving that lasting impact as you're living right now, because there's a lot of seeds you can leave as we're, living and wonderful growing as we're doing right now in the world. So with that, before we get to that topic, I want to have the queens introduce themselves. And let's see, I always like putting them in the middle. So I'm going to start with Miss Queen Kimberly.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's so lovely to be here. So first and foremost, I want to appreciate you, Barbara, for the real wonderful invitation to join you on your show this afternoon. My name is Kimberly Lechnick. I am a love coach, and basically what that means is I come alongside to guide professional women to embrace their self-worth. And on the other side of things, I'm an executive producer and show host for Faith Rising, Feel the Fire, where I'm highlighting social entrepreneurs, those that have 501c3s, nonprofits, why, all in an effort to heal humanity. And I am just so blessed to announce a new collaboration with Lachelle Atkins, and we have a podcast now called Power of the Moment, and we have a growing community on the LinkedIn platform. So again, thank you so much, Barbara J. Beckley, for inviting me to your show today.
Yes, Queen. Wonderful. Awesome things always happening in your world. So next we'll have Queen Pastor Kristina S. Shauntee.
Hey, everybody. I'm excited to be a part of this conversation today. For formalities, I want to say thank you, Barbara, and to Miss Tamara for inviting us and having us as a guest on the show today. So I'm excited about talking about lasting legacy on the Let's Talk Fab show. And to introduce myself, I am a wife, I am a pastor, I am a mother, I am a copywriter, and I'm just thankful and glad to be alive, to be able to talk about planting seeds, harvesting them, and growing beyond them. So let's talk about legacy, ladies.
Yes. I see we're ready already. She said, let's talk. Love it, love it, love it. Our next queen to introduce herself is Miss Ronnie Cyrus-Jackson.
Hello. Thank you so much, Barbara, for inviting me to join you lovely ladies this afternoon. And thank you, Tamara, for allowing us to be on your show. I am Ronnie Cyrus-Jackson. I am actually a forgiveness coach. I believe that authentic transformations is the heart at what we are all trying to accomplish in life as we evolve and grow. And so it is my pleasure to walk alongside, in particular, women who have been through tough stuff in life, including trauma, past abuse, and pain, and who's trying to heal through that. So leaving a lasting impact and legacy is definitely at the heart of what I know that I have been put in this earth to do. So thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation today.
Awesome, Queen. Thank you. I'm so glad you're on the panel today. And last but not least, our Queen, is it Racquel Maye-David? Hopefully I said it right, Queen. Let's see. She's on mute. It won't let me get her off mute. Okay. So she's a wonderful queen. And she's a coach as well, an author, speaker. And once Tech gets right, I will let her introduce herself a little later, but I just want to make sure that you've seen the wonderful queen, and she's with us today. And she did the last minute call too. So I really appreciate that she was able to come onto the panel. So with that said, okay, we're going to get right into it. And before we start talking about this wonderful lasting impact, building an impact, building the seed, everything that some of the queens just said, I want to get our mindset together. Because usually, when you hear that people say, oh, we got to get the right mindset, we got to make sure we're doing that. So I got a little video. You know me, I'm video queen sometimes. And I do have a mindset video. So I'm going to play that and we'll be right back. So, you heard at the end, I always say repeat. I like how I said at the end, repeat that. So, just make sure, and this kind of goes into what we're talking about, is having that mindset to leave the seeds, having the mindset to whatever you're doing in life, that it's not just only yourself doing it and being prosperous in what you're doing, but also prosper in other people's life. You're throwing them, and I love the seed thing. We're going to that's going to be kind of our little thing today too, is throwing that seed out, because it's so important to have that grow. And then people, pull off of that, right? But you got to make sure, I'm going to put it out there. You got to make sure it's a positive growth. It's not a negative. There's too much of that out there. There's too many negative seeds running around here. So we want to make sure we put those positive seeds out so it can forever lasting, right? Mm-hmm. So with that said, queens, want to get into some key steps when it comes to leaving that lasting impact in that legacy of living now. So what are some key steps individuals can take today to start building a legacy that will reflect values and long-term visions? So I'm going to start off with Ronnie, and give me her take on that.
Absolutely. Key steps that I think women and just humans, right? Human beings, key steps that we need to take as we think about our future lasting legacies, as we think about growing ourselves, and particularly personally and professionally. One, we have to have a willingness. We have to have a willingness to want to grow forward and want to move past where we have been. Hopefully we have someone or something that is encouraging our lives, and that's and something that we are trying to attain, goals in particular that we're trying to reach for. So I don't want to take all the time, so I want to yield my mic here, but I think first and foremost, a willingness, and that willingness comes from, we have to have a hope and a dream and a goal of where it is that we desire to go. I'll yield my mic there.
Awesome, Queen. I love it. The willingness. Anybody wants to chime in on that? I see you, lady. There you go.
I do. The clarity for me, the first key is first to have clarity, clarify your purpose and your values, identify your core values, understand what matters most to you. whether it's your faith, your family, service, integrity, or something else. These values should guide our actions to be the stepping stones of the stones that we're going to leave for the future. So define your purpose, have clarity of what you were created to do. And then the next key that I believe that's important is to live with integrity and consistency.
I love that. I love that. I'm thank you for bringing that up, Pastor Christina, because I always tell people we were all put on this earth for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every one of us. I don't care where you're at in your life, but you were put on this earth for a purpose, even if it's opening doors for queens. And I always say that. Don't look at that as a small thing, because you don't know what that's doing for that person that you're opening the door for. And you don't know what it's doing for yourself, because you're giving gratitude. You're putting your love out there. See how opening the door shows so much? That's powerful. So I love what Pastor Christina said about, understand the purpose, defining that. Anybody else want to add to that? And our other queen is here. Kimberly, I'm putting you in here. There you go.
I love what Ronnie and Kristina were sharing in regards to where do we go and what are those actionable steps that we can take. For me, it's, reaching out and being open to what? To personal development. To personal development, and not looking at it as work, looking at it as an extension. It is a mere extension. All of us love the idea of being invited to a party. Well, how about if we looked at personal development just like that? Just like someone was extending to us an invitation to a party that was going to unlock things like Pastor said today about purpose, right? And then when we open ourselves up to personal development, it's there in that space that we grow, And for me, it's a key ingredient. So I ask everyone, how many invitations have you accepted, right? How many invitations do you continue to accept on a daily basis to welcome in personal development? Because personal development is really going to open you up like nothing, no other. And you're really going to understand yourself more deeply. But this is a daily thing. It's not like a one and done. It's a long journey. So that's what comes up for me, Barbara.
Awesome, Queen. Love that. Yeah, it's an ongoing progress, ongoing thing. So I love how you brought that up, Queen Kimberly. Anybody want to piggyback on that wonderful concept? I love these golden nuggets. They're coming in. Well, I want to see if our other queen, and I want to make sure I say your name right. Is it Queen Racquel?
Yes, ma'am. It's Racquel. Hi, guys. Thank you for listen. This weather been weathering in Texas, okay? Hi, I'm so happy to be here. You guys, like I was listening on my phone while I was trying to get everything together because you guys have really like hit nails all over the head. And I think one of the major things that you said, Barbara, was that you need to know that your job, whatever it is purposeful, right? You're destined and you're meant to be here. But for you guys that don't know me, I'm so sorry. My name is Racquel Maye-David. I am the CEO of Evolving Eve Consulting Services, and I offer credit and funding support to first-time home buyers and individuals that have just started over, meaning you've just had a divorce or you just broke up and you had to go from 2 incomes to 1, right? I teach you how to become a beast in these credit streets. And my goal is to make sure that I'm helping you build a legacy for yourself, because sometimes you restart and people think it's a failure, and it's not. You've learned a lesson. You now know how to take that information and apply it. And I think that if we all know that it's a story, that's a part of our story that's going to be read, but we have so much more to go on and achieve. We'll look at credit differently. We'll look at relationships differently, and we won't feel so stagnant and stuck when things doesn't work out exactly the way we want it to, right? but my goal here is to help you learn how to play these credit games and win. So I'm so happy I was here. I thank you so much for inviting me, as well as America's Supermom, Lachelle. It's amazing for me to go ahead and add my little gems in as we go. So thank you for having me at the club.
Oh, Queen, thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to get tech good because I didn't want you to miss this because I know you got a lot of golden nuggets to give as well. So appreciate you again, last minute. Thank you so much. I'm putting that out there because you see how queens just show up. You know who to call. You know who to call. So with that said, I want to give love to the comments here. We're getting a lot of hearts. Especially the purple hearts, hint, hint. We know what the purple hearts are for. Lovely queen that passed away a few months ago. She do the purple hearts a lot. And we always, when we show the purple hearts, we're giving her love. RIH, as I say, rest in heaven. So with that said, before we move on, I got my videos. So people have been talking about planting seeds and stuff. So guess what just a few days ago passed? What was a few days ago? There was a certain day, I think it was like September 22nd or something like that. Won't have you guess too long. Fall, autumn started. So with that, yes, I will be right back after this video.
Give me love, give me love, give me love like never before. I wait for you, my darling, that's for sure. Give me love, give me love, give me love like never before. And I wait for you, my darling, that's for sure.
I had to put a joke to it, if anybody caught that. So people, please appreciate fall. I love when the leaves change. I don't know about anybody else, but it is beautiful when you see it. I live in Wisconsin, and there's certain areas where, I mean, we're not all farm life, but some people think I am. It's all on the farm. If I was on the, I wouldn't, first of all, I'm a city person. I would not be all on the farm. But there are certain parts in my vicinity that is basically farmland. And believe me, these leaves are turning so pretty. So with that, everybody just take the time out to do that and just look at what we get. We get a masterpiece every day in our lives. So make sure that you honor that and thank God for that. So with that said, we're going to get right back into making that lasting impact, So Queens, I want to bring up just another question for you about that. So how can someone balance the desire for immediate success with the goal of leaving a lasting impact for future generations? So, things that we achieve stuff every day and everything. And I always say every time I achieve something, I think, first of all, I thank God for letting me achieve it. And I thank him for giving me the wisdom and the guidance for it. And then I like to show up for others because, we're all leaders. Even if you don't think you're a leader, you're a leader. And leaders, we want to show example so people kind of know the way. So I want to hear from the queens now of how, when you show up right now, when your successes for future generations, how do you use that as I want to say a generation lead? So anybody wants to jump in on that, and I will pick you if I don't hear soon.
Barbara, can you clarify that for us a little bit? Like, what are you looking for?
Just when you do success, like success that's happening in your life right now, how are you using that as a seed for future legacies? Example of being that leader, of leaving those seeds out there. Like I said, I keep saying seeds. I'm loving this because we're all successful in our own ways. So how are you using that as that seed for legacy? You want to go first, Kim? I see a lot of hands up, so I'm going to have to grab who I see first.
No, please let Ronnie go. I think I saw her hand.
Okay, Queen.
Yeah, so I love this question. I love this question because I think culture lies to us. And I am guilty, and I am just all guilty about accepting the lies of culture. As a woman of faith, definitely, I know that my authority comes from the Lord. More than that, I know that I was created for a specific purpose in this earth. However, culture would have us to believe that when we show up, and I'm air quoting show up, that we have to show up with so much fervor and zeal and this quite frankly sometimes toxic positivity when we're really not in that space. And so what I like to remind myself of as I've gone on my healing journey and now walking alongside others, when I think about impact, for me it was representation of what it looks like to really show up when you're not well, but you still have a responsibility to fulfill. And so showing up with courage and bravery in the midst of whatever season of life you're in or whatever, circumstance that you're walking through. For me in particular, I've dealt with a lot of grief. And so showing up anyway, meaning, yes, I get to put that on the back burner for now as I continue to serve and do what the Lord has called and positioned me to do for that particular assignment. And so I think it's important for us to just remember as a nugget that when we show up, it doesn't mean we always have to show up with these loud, vivacious and, smiles and just this is fake, right? You don't always show up like that. Sometimes it's just being present. And even if that's very quietly, and even if that's in the background, nonetheless, you showed up. So that's what I would like to offer to this conversation. I'll yield my mic.
Awesome. I know thank you so much, Queen, for that. Yeah, showing up is very important. Consistency in what you do is very important. I'm learning that as I go. And I'm going to say this because we're open here. I'm not always consistent. So I was telling myself just the other day, I said, okay, Barbara, you're talking about leadership. You're talking about people leading. Where are you leading them to? So that's another thing. You got to ask that question sometimes, like, where are you really leading people if you're trying to be an example? So I said, okay, let me get a little get right and get back on consistency train. So, sometimes you do that check, right? Not just a checking for others, but a checking on yourself. So with that said, I had some other hands raised regarding the question.
So I wanted to jump on it. So I wanted to tackle two things. So number one, I think the biggest things, again, we have different women in the room, right? So some are mothers, some are not mothers. And I think that one of the biggest things that we forget to do is to celebrate the small wins. So I feel like if we acknowledge the success that we had, I feel like there was somewhere that I read that says, seeing someone else do it is proof that it can be done, right? So if you were successful in this thing, it may not be big to everyone else, right? But because you were able to succeed in that area, number one, you've now told a community that it can be done. You can be I just met this young lady. I was literally scrolling through Instagram. I was supposed to be sleepy, y'all, but that's not the point. Okay. I was scrolling through Instagram and I met this young lady, don't know her from Adams. And she was like, you need to, like, a lot of people say that you don't share your wins or you don't talk about your success, but and that some people feel that it's hubris, right? Or it's being boastful. But sometimes you have to talk about your wins so that someone else knows it can be done, right? I have an author. Because I was scrolling, I stopped and heard that message. In her message that she was sending out, she told me she was a 5-time best-selling author as an African-American woman on the New York Times bestsellers list. And how many people do you know, whether directly or indirectly, have that notch on their belt, right? So when we're looking at creating a legacy, you being the person that can do something that has successfully succeeded that particular thing, then you're able to let the generations that are looking back know that, yeah, I can fight for this. I can see injustice. I can see that there's change that needs to be made. I can see that the system isn't working, whether it's for women, men, whatever. And I can be the voice that shifts that, right? So I think that us taking the moment to say, I did that, right? Like, I did that, whatever big or small it might be to us. And I also think that when we have wins that were not on our goal list, like, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm big on goals. Okay, every year I write a little goal list. Okay, I'm like, I'm gonna do this this year. And last year I did 5 things that I did not put on my goal list. I did them, but they were never originally a goal that I had in my brain as to this is what I was going to execute, right? So I never even, when I went at the end of the year, me and my family would do like a gratitude circle at the end of the year. Like they were bringing up some of those things, like, Mom, I was so grateful to come to the studio. Mom, I was so able. And those are things that I didn't even count as an individual. So I wasn't able to even acknowledge it, but the people around me that had access to see it are now like, oh, shoot, I can do this. I can successfully win at this, right? So that I wanted to cover that. And then there's something that you said, Miss B. You know, I'm always piggybacking off of Miss B. Miss Barbara said consistency. And I, again, another time I was scrolling on Facebook and there was this circle, right, of like what consistency looks like. And oftentimes I think that we think that consistency means you're doing it every single day. Every single day. I'm successful at this thing every single day. If you made it through yesterday and you now today, you successfully completed yesterday. Okay? So consistency does not always look like a press and repeat, right? Consistency may be you now having to look and see what items you as an individual may have missed and then say, okay, I know that that's not my area of genius, right? Like my area of genius is connecting with people, having one-on-ones. That's my area of genius. If you want me to write an email, that's not the scripture that God gave me. Okay. So now I need to know that I need to delegate that out so I can be consistent at the things that I am 99 to 100% efficient and effective in, right? But I want us to challenge ourselves as we are growing and glowing and giving ourselves, like building a foundation, is understanding that consistency is going to look different. But when you know that there are things that you are not good at, to challenge yourself to give it to someone else that's their area of genius, so you can focus on the things that God has poured into you for you to give to others. I yield the mic. Sorry, just wanted to give that.
I was waiting. I was like, I'm gonna drop the mic. I'm gonna drop the mic. OMG. Well, it was like what, 5 golden nuggets in one whole sentence? Like, I'm like, what, really? Really, Queen? You're gonna do that to us? Well, first, thank you for giving me the love, because you said you always come back to Miss B, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm in that. Second, awesome. I love how you said, and I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get the whole thing, but you said, seeing somebody else do it gives, well, I'm going to put my little spin on it too, giving hope for others. Really. I mean, every time I see people get whatever, I always say to myself, you know what? Shoot, if they can do it, I can do it. It's not like certain people got that in the box and other people don't. It's we all have that opportunity. We, like I said, as long as you're breathing and living and thanking God for it, you can do it. So I love how you brought that there. And the consistency is different in everybody's case. But the biggest thing is, long as you're giving, I'm going to go back to the topic, giving that lasting impact while you're doing it, right? So I know there's some other queens that want to weigh on this. I'm going to put Pastor Kristina in, because I know she always has something going on here.
Let me unmute myself first. Wonderful, wonderful nuggets, Racquel, that you shared with each of us. Actually, all the ladies. When I think about legacy and showing up, for me, when I think about legacy and just life and building legacy, it makes me think of seasons. It makes me think of the seasons that we're in. But first and foremost, in celebrating each season, which is a success. But also, I would be remiss to say, building a legacy isn't just about what you leave behind, but how you live now. It's about creating a life that reflects who you are, what you stand for, and what you want to continue long after you're gone. That makes me think of something that I stand on, which is harvest and beyond. That's where I got the planting seeds, harvesting them, and then growing beyond them. How are you growing beyond each season of success, which is a season of harvest, which is a season of harvest that's going to leave lasting legacy? Through each season, how did you persevere? Through each season, how did you finish well? Through each season, to build legacy, you've got to stay committed. That means building a lasting legacy of a lifelong process. It's a lifelong process, even through challenges, staying focused on your mission and continuing sowing seeds that will bear fruit for future generations. Then I also said, finish well. Are you finishing each season successfully? Are you finishing each season strong? So when we think about building legacy, leaving legacy, in each season, I believe that we need to aim to end each season of our life well, whether it's in your family, your business, your ministry, your community outreach. Finishing well, I really do believe when it comes to legacy, it inspires others and it strengthens the legacy that you leave behind.
Now that's a golden star moment. Yeah. Well, we getting some. I'm sitting here like trying to take notes, and then I keep forgetting. Oh, I'm co-hosting this. Oops. I don't want to leave that.
You gotta remember, you could watch the replay, friend. Just go ahead. Don't forget, y'all, like, comment, subscribe, and watch the replay. Okay, if y'all are on these YouTube streets, y'all better hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, because she's coming here dropping nuggets, and she bringing her. You see her team? Her team is coming. You better drop that. Click, you hit replay just in case, because you can't write that fast. I got you, friend. I got you.
You know what? Thank you, Queen, for reminding me of that. Let me get back on my post because I can always do the replay. You're right. I love it. I love these queens today. Miss Kimberly, you know I'm not leaving you out, Queen of Queen. Come on with it. I know you have some nuggets.
Well, I think this is a conversation that we can talk about for a really long time, for hours upon hours. But I think one thing is important. And one thing that I heard was that, and I know to be true, is that we have everything that we need inside of us. I kind of equate it to a tool belt, right? So we have this tool belt, and it's just whether or not, again, it starts with that invitation to personal growth. And then we can take out these tools, right? And we can utilize them on our journey. So when we're talking about lasting impact, we're talking about leadership. I think for me, it leads me to the space where nobody really understands what's going on behind the scenes. Nobody knows what we're experiencing behind the scenes. So we may show up with smiles and we may be real exuberant because that's who we are, right? Everyone has a different journey, but nobody knows what's happening behind the scenes. And I come from a space where that is authentic. That is authentic because no one can tell you whether or not you're authentic or not. You can only know that. It's between you and I say your God, whoever that is. That's the only one who can tell you whether or not it's authentic, So for me, I just make an impact every single day. I show up. I am grateful. I am grateful, Barbara, that you extended this invitation. And of course, I'm going to say yes. Why? I guess you could say that's my state of being. I know an opportunity when I see it because it's not me, it's God. And God is working through me. And so that's one thing that comes up for me in terms of legacy, right? And we can make that decision every single day. Are we going to show up? And I think Ronnie said it. However, we need to show up. Sometimes showing up is just showing up. And that's okay. And nobody can determine whether or not that's not okay except us and our God, whoever that is for us. The other thing that comes up for me is this idea of dancing in the rain. Life's a mess. Life's a living mess sometimes, and it's okay. We can dance in the rain, It's like, oh my God, this day's a mess. But I choose to dance in it. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to let the rain fall, and I'm going to dance in it. I'm going to show up, and I'm going to be joyful about it. Why? Because God told me that that's why he has me here. And so for me, that's part of my journey. you know, and I have a choice. I can show up crying and sobbing because I think I had a blood blister the other day because I pinched my hand in my gait, and I was on a call, and the gal said to me, "Are you sure you don't have to go?" And I just started laughing, and she goes, "Why are you laughing?" And I said, "Because this is what I do. I show up. If I'm going to let this stop me, when the rain's falling down on me, well, what am I going to do? It's just a little blood blister. I'll get over it. I got some ice here. I'll move through it. It's okay." And see, to me, that's how you show up. You still get to the call. The other thing I love that we're talking about today is the seasons, right? These seasons are just, I love it. We're in fall. So what does fall remind us? Fall reminds us that sometimes we need to let go. We need to let go of experiences, of places, of people. Again, it's a mess. Are we going to dance in it, or are we going to cry? You know, we get to choose. And that's what I love, especially about this season of fall, is because it's a reminder. It's not the only time we do this, but it's a reminder that nature is there to teach us. Nature is leading us, and that is something that we experience. And again, we can't forget reflection. You know, we cannot forget the importance of reflecting. So we have an experience, and then we reflect on it. I showed up in a certain way. Okay, I showed up in a certain way. Was that to the best? Is that how God wanted me to show up? Is that how is that how showing up aligns with my core values? Maybe, maybe not. It's not a game over. It's the game is just beginning. Let's get up and let's do it all over again because tomorrow's going to be better. Thanks so much, Barbara.
Ooh, I got a lot to listen to after this this show. I gotta go back. This is so good. And I love. Okay, so now that Kimberly kind of got us into showing up and doing things, you know, I have another video. This is called Making a Difference, and we'll be right back. Time I was thinking about singing in the rain and ringing and singing that song by Gene Kelly. It's your fault, Kimberly. I was like, I'm singing in the rain. It's like, I love it, love it, love it. So with that said, ladies, queens, just to give some more love to people that's making comments, we got Queen Tamara on the scene here. She's always supporting as we're doing our show. You're taking notes. I want to take notes too. I gotta wait till after. Singing, Barbara. No, Tamara always wants me to sing. I'm like, not today. See, everybody making me jealous. Sending out healing energy to the effect on the East Coast for US. Yes, please send out that love vibes because the storms and everything alone. We all know people, family, friends. So please send out the prayers to them. I just want to say, I love what Caroline says. She taught me, she keeps on teaching me this because she does it every day. Show with integrity and authenticity. Show up. The two belt, looks like a lot of people like that. Kimberly, the two belt. Yeah, we got to have our two belt in there. And just some good vibes here, some good golden nuggets. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about, I'm going to go back a little bit of what Queen Pastor Kristina said about being committed. And it's a lifelong process. So really important. really important. That was really in my thought process as she was saying that, and all the lovely queens were saying their golden nuggets. So I want to kind of go back and ask you, because of the time here, what are like 2 things that you can give? Because I always we're talking about giving. I just showed the thing about giving. What 2 maybe examples or tips out of your tool belt that you can tell the lovely audience about how to do living legacy right now, right this second, like you said, as we're breathing and everything? What kind of tips or examples that you can give to the audience? And I want to start off with Queen Racquel here. There we go.
Thank you. So tip number 1, audit your life. One of the biggest things that I think that we forget to do is look at what we're spending and what we're expected to give. So when I talk about credit, I always talk about people about budget as far as their money. I think as an individual, we need to learn how to budget our time. We need to learn, where are we putting our energy, and is it in a fruitful space? Or if it's not, then we need to make the necessary adjustments so that we can make sure that we're making massive movements forward. That's what Liz Simpson says. You want to make sure that you're making those constant changes. But if you don't budget, where's your time going? Because if something is running around in your head rent free, guess what, y'all? It's taking up too much time, right? So that's number 1. And audit your time. And number 2, I think meditation is something that I have recently incorporated in like my journey, to take time to write, to like sit with myself, write down my goals, say what I've been able to accomplish for the day, and really be honest with myself. Because I think sometimes we give ourselves 1,500 things to do in a day and then feel like we're not successful. But if we do it, I call it the end of the day analysis of what we successfully accomplished, and then execute what our next day is looking like, we'll be able to show up with like to the fullness of who we are, without feeling broken or empty or overwhelmed. So audit yourself, do an end of the day report so that you can make sure that you're showing up to the best of your ability, but pouring into yourself the way you need to.
Ooh, I love that. I love how you said the ending part, like audit, you're the ending of the day of what you accomplished, even if it wasn't something that you had on your goals list. And just, I want to throw out a quick side note with that, because people always say, well, I got, my big accomplishments and I got my medium and small. Why are we doing that? Every accomplishment is huge in your life. Everything you do is huge. We're talking about lasting impact, right? So everything that you do, anything is not little. Okay, so let's stop measuring what we do, what we succeed in.
I love that, Barbara. But not only that, what I think people misunderstand is there was a mentor that I saw, and he did this in a group with kids, and he laid down a bunch of pieces of paper, and he had them like jump from one piece of paper right all the way through to the end. And as he was doing that mentorship, he was pulling out pieces of paper and then telling them to jump from one paper to the next, and was like, okay, well, now you only got 2 papers. You got the big goal, right? That was all the way at the end. And then you had the paper that was right in front of him. And he turned to him, and the kid jumped, and he was able to, of course, he was like, child, they young, so their knees was good, right? So he jumped from that one to the next one. He said, okay, walk back. And he took away that first paper. And he said, now, if you don't pay attention to those pieces of paper that were in between that we consider small, you will not be able to get to that end goal. So you have to see those smaller pieces of the puzzle, because that's what's going to be able to get you from where you are to where you want to be. So to your point, nothing is ever small, because if the end goal is big, everything in the middle has to be big as well, because it's connecting the dots, right? So I love that.
See, my queen's got it. Okay, so more 2 tips that you can give or examples. I'm going to go to Queen Kristina, Pastor Queen Kristina.
Racquel, I love what you just said about the passing the paper, the example of when he handed out the paper. It made me think about our faith. And in faith, What stones are you passing? What stones are you leaving back for the generation after you to follow? So with that being said, I think when it comes to legacy, it's important for us to share our faith journey. If that faith journey is central to your life, make sure that you share your testimonies, spiritual experiences, and how your relationship with God shaped your life. So you're leaving stones for the generation behind you to follow. Teach spiritual principles, impart biblical values to your family, your community, to those that you mentor. People talked about mentoring. You wonderful ladies, someone mentioned mentors today, encouraging them to live in alignment with their faith. But with all that being said, I think it's also important, and I would be remiss not to say, evaluate and adjust regularly. Reflect on your legacy, but reflect on your legacy goals. Periodically, we've got to assess whether or not our actions are aligning up with the legacy we're building. Make adjustments as needed to ensure that we're staying on track. And last, I want to say, listen to others' perspectives about your influence and your impact. I believe that this feedback can guide us to continued growth, but also to continue to contribute to society so there's a lasting impact even when we're long gone. So those are my little nuggets on legacy as we close.
Ooh, mic drop. I just want to just say how much I appreciate you, Queens. I just want to stop for a second and take that moment in right now of just knowing individuals like you with like-mindedness and able to share these golden nuggets to just the world. I mean, this can go everywhere. That's why I love people. I always say stream, because you don't know who this is going to touch. And I just want to thank you ladies for that. Another thing is just to remind before we get to Queen Ronnie and Queen Kimberly on their tips, take action. Okay? Take action. We can talk about this all day and all night, but if you don't take action in anything that you heard of, being committed or, diseases, all that stuff we were talking about, take action. So with that said, we're going to go to Queen Ronnie because she's going to take some action right now and give us some tips.
2 tips, I think, just life hacks that I have incorporated in my own life and I share with clients. And I've also shared in my book as well, is number 1 tip is forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves is sometimes the hardest person to forgive. And we all stumble, we all make mistakes, we all grow. And so it's very important that we don't stay stuck. So forgiving ourselves and giving ourselves permission to keep it moving and instead of looking backwards, that is huge when we think about having impact. Impact meaning forcibly colliding into something that inevitably makes a change to something else. And so, forgiving ourselves and forgiving others as well, I think is one tip that we have just got. We've got to grow in our relationship with forgiveness. Number 1. Then number 2, I think about boundaries. Making sure that we're setting healthy boundaries for ourselves and for others, understanding that boundaries aren't always meant to serve to keep something outside of our sphere. Sometimes boundaries is very necessary so that we can receive things into our sphere of influence as well. And so I think, understanding what boundaries that we have set, if we need to restructure or recreate those boundaries, do so and do it now, whenever the now comes. But boundary setting and forgiveness have been two life hacks that have been, just game changers in my life. And I want to give that as tips to others.
Woo-wee. I see Melanie said, drop the mic, Ronnie. You dropped that mic. We got some wonderful people watching the show today. They're dropping little golden nuggets in there too as well. Yeah, they are healthy. Yeah, healthy boundaries. Yes. I feel like when you put boundaries together also, it helps you really create more connection or networking with people in the right manner so you have the right time to do it. If you're just trying to do everything all this thing, because I'm just saying I've been there. Forgiveness of myself. I have took on a whole lot and didn't get nothing done. That's what really happened. I took on so much that I didn't have even time to even enjoy it, for one thing, help people along the way, and just kept saying, this is just like, oh my God. So when you create those boundaries, You need to enjoy yourself as you're working with people and communities, and then have the time to complete it and then enjoy the completion instead of trying to say, I got all this stuff going on. Have you ever people say that? So I love how you put that together, Queen Ronnie, about the boundaries.
Queen Barbara, can I also add before we move on, when I think about boundaries, I think as women of impact, I think that it's critical too that we don't become a stumbling block for people in lieu of a boundary. And what I mean by that is this notion of gatekeeping. Absolutely not. I think gatekeeping is necessary when it's necessary, but it's also a hindrance when someone is just looking for help. And I think that sometimes when we put this gatekeeping mentality in front of where it is we're going, and we're trying to, bring other people with us, it serves as a hindrance, because when you think about gatekeepers, are we really giving people and serving people well? Or are we so busy trying to keep things out of the hands of other people that we're really being counterproductive to the mission that we are trying to provoke and we're trying to move forward? So I just want to, as we think about boundaries, think about, what is your relationship with gatekeeping? Are you doing so because you're fearful? Let's just call it out. Or are you doing so because it's healthy? Only we can answer that for ourselves, but I'll leave that there.
Wow. See, she left that there, right? So that's something to think about. Wow, Queen Ronnie. Okay, there we go. It's like little tech was doing something. Okay, Miss Kimberly, you're up next, Queen of Queens.
Oh my goodness, what a conversation we had today. Just beautiful. For me, I think of two things. I think of kindness, first and foremost. So I think, how many opportunities, there's abundance all around us. How many opportunities do we have around us to be kind? I don't know. I don't know. I must do that, I don't know, 10, 11 times a day. I mean, just something simple. A lot of times in terms of impact, we think that it has to be so big. See, but this is what I love about Darren Hardy. And he has a book called, and he talks about the compound effect, right? This is what I love. So if you think about it, when you first started your life journey, you were a seed. You came into this world. How many opportunities did you have for an act of kindness? That's why I say success. You don't know why someone is in a position that they're in, why they're successful, what made them successful. That is none of your business, because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. All you know is that what you see in front of you. So these acts of kindness are just a compound effect. They're all around you. Again, we have everything that we need around us. So you can ask yourself this thoughtful question: what acts of kindness am I going to extend to someone? Today, and you can ask that in your daily practice when you wake up in the morning. Maybe it's a prayer and God says, you just ask God, or whatever your higher power is, what acts of kindness would you like me to do today? And he will answer you. And more times than not, it's just going to multiply over time, because we know what happens with consistency over time. It multiplies. The other thing that comes up for me, especially in terms of our relationships, and this is after talking to hundreds and hundreds of people, because what a lot of people don't know about me is I have over 20 years experience supporting children and families. So it wasn't something that I just walked into and decided, hey, I'm going to be a coach today. I'm going to go get that little bit of certification and I'm going to coach people. So this has been over the course of time. And what I found in relationships is that a lot of times we're not curious enough. So what does that mean? Curiosity means is that when somebody says something to us and we're not really sure how to receive it, we can ask them a curious question, because they only have the truth. we don't have their truth. And I love what Ronnie was saying about being a gatekeeping or whatever. We don't have the truth. Only that human being has the truth. So if we really want that information, then we have a responsibility to ask the curious question. And I'm telling you, curiosity, again, when we're talking about the compound effect, goes far beyond just one instance. It multiplies, it compounds. So the more curious you are to learn things, and I love in relationship, the study of relationship, I like to consider myself a scientist because I love studying them. I love peeling back the layers. So again, back to the 2 tips, not to go on and on. Kindness, asking that curious question in the morning during your reflection time, during your evening reflection, wherever you have it, during your gratitude practice throughout the day. Ask the question. You're going to get amazing answers, not just from your God, but from the world around you. And I think we talked earlier today, I think it was many of us talked about the importance of perspective. But do that and ask curious questions to those around you. And you're going to be fascinated because exactly the answer they give you is most probably going to be very different than what you were thinking in your mind to begin with. And that is powerful. So thank you so much again, Barbara J. Beckley.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Queen Kimberly. So that, our time, they hit it right on time here. I just want to thank everybody for coming, listening. What are you going to leave out there now that you're living? I want to tell people real quickly, words are powerful. Words are powerful. And I'm saying that because you can make a difference in somebody's life just picking up the phone, leaving a message, messenger, all the ways we communicate right now, and just saying how much you are proud of them and that you love them. That is leaving a legacy of living legacy, because that word can go into their ear, whatever they're dealing with right now, and make them change. Transformation is there. So I want to put action out there, as I said before, and be curious enough, as Queen Kimberly said, and make it happen each and every second of the day. With that said, thank you, Queens. Thank you, everybody. Another wonderful show next Sunday, and we will see you soon. And remember, always, let's talk fabulous. Bye.
I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.